Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to this lovely evening. The weather is also so nice nowadays, and I wish to welcome you all on behalf of Media and Entertainment Skills Council. Yes, this is Pooja Arora welcoming you all to the Creative Warriors workshop powered by Vidyadaan in association with GMEC, Global Media Education Council. And after the lovely inaugural session yesterday, we are here with a new session talking a lot more about media. And today we'll be dissecting long form journalism, the journey from pitch to reportage. Now, what is this long form journalism? As a layman, what I understand about it is a subset of journalism known as a long form is focused on producing longer articles with more information. Uh, I guess it usually ranges from 1,000 to maybe 20,000 words, long length pieces frequently taken as a narrative or creative notification or something. So let's learn about it from the professional, Dr. Tabeenah Anjum, a senior journalist, media educator, and internationally acclaimed visual storyteller. She presently teaches across media institutes in India. She is an adjunct professor at Haridev Joshi University of Journalism and Mass Communication in Jaipur. With over a decade of experience in print and multimedia journalism, she reports on politics, gender, human rights, migrant rights, and issues impacting marginalized communities from Rajasthan, and also covers socio-political issues related to Hindi heartland of India. Her long form reportage, political analysis, and absorbing features have also appeared in reputed publications such as The Caravan, Article 14, The Gao Connection, The Quint, The Telegraph, and many, many more to talk about. Tabeenah ma'am, it's really a pleasure to have you here on this portal.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you, Ambrish sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, GMEC, DME, and MESC for hosting these enriching series. Yesterday's we started it by yesterday, and we have, I think, a 1 month of enriching sessions by our colleagues who are a part of GMEC, and
At the same time, ma'am, welcome. First of all, the ladies first thing. So I'll welcome Tabeenah ma'am. And yes, we cannot forget welcoming Dr. Amrish Saxena, media educator, researcher, journalist, and an anchor. So it's so good to have you both here. And I'll be glad to hand over the session to Dr. Anjum, and will be there learning at the back end.
Sir will be speaking, or should I? Okay, sir. All right. Thank you so much. I've been asked to share something about long form journalism and journey from pitch to reportage. So I'll keep my session very short and to the point. I'll be using both English as well as Hindi because, we have students from diverse states. So allow me to, use both the languages. And of course, if there are any questions, please feel free to, ask the questions in the chat box or by the end of the session. So long form reportage, a journey from pitch to, reportage, how it happens. So we often say, Hannah, there is a pitch. What is a pitch? We usually say, let's pitch our idea. Let's pitch a story. Let's pitch this creative idea or something. So pitch is very important, Hannah. When you say long form reportage, and for long form reportage, for any kind of a reportage, the pitch is very important. So what is a pitch? Basically, we'll be discussing in this session how to make a pitch, how to make your pitch more effectively, so that when your editor receives a pitch, he or she should instantly, think, okay, this is worth a read. This is worth a read for our audience. And how to also weave that pitch or elaborate it into a good read, a good long read, or a long form reportage, or a long feature, which you can, read at length and get an idea from all the sides. The times we are living in, abhi. Multimedia has very, is mushrooming like anything else. We all have adapted to, the multimedia, the new media, the smartphone. Most of us read, long pieces on, or even short pieces or tweets on our mobile phone and laptops, mostly on the, mobile phones. And when we say multimedia, so then it gives you also, you can just have more pictures, you can have use of visuals, you can have charts, you can have maps. So reportage now no more is like just a print reportage where you just have 300 or 400 or 500 word piece or a 600 piece. And because space is a there are space issues, so no space restrictions here when we say long form reportage. And when we say long form reportage, it itself is mostly the online media we are talking about. Now we have online websites, we have news websites, but when we talk especially about long form, reportage, you'll be surprised to know we have several websites whose focus is on, long form reportage. They want to do stories in depth. They want to have voices from all sides. Maybe they publish us one story a day, but that story will be like, 3,000 word story, a 4,000 word story. And who is doing it? We all reporters are doing it. So the audience for such websites are slightly different. आप और मैं जो टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया या कोई डेली न्यूज़पेपर्स में जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं, वो एक अलग ऑडियंस है, आपको रोज का पढ़ना है. And now for example, an event is happening and you're writing about it, it will be 600 words, 500 words. But if you later write about it, you write about it and you write it with a human angle, having a human angle perspective in your mind. This is what makes a simple story different. It makes it a long form because you want to tell a story. What is more important in the long form is the voices should not be lost. From beginning to the last, there should be a voice, there should be voices. It shouldn't be just a commentary. It should have color, it should have facts, it should have data, it should have all the details. If there is a feature, to featurish bhi hona chahiye, direct voice hai, direct hona chahiye. It should have embedded links of your tweets, whatever you are making. But that comes later. The first stage is the pitch. तो अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि pitch है क्या, है ना, what is a pitch? Pitch is, for example, Hannah, let's forget about journalism. The pitch is, for example, you want to construct a house. So before you start constructing a house, an architect will come to you with a map. Your house will look like this. It will have 3 rooms. It will have a drawing room. You will enter from here and this is how it will look. You'll have a map and then you'll have a, final a picture. So you can envisage, you can imagine, okay, this is how your map will be later, it will be transformed and it will become a house. So similarly, that pitch should be very, so in journalism, what is a pitch? So pitch is basically, it's describing your story, a brief description. It should be just 500 words, 200 words, not more than, 400, 500 words. Otherwise, then it becomes a story. It should be strong to convince an editor, producer, or a publisher, so that he commissions you the piece. This is more about the long form reportage and pitch. What I'm talking about is it's more about, independent journalists, the freelance journalists who are nowadays, working with different websites nationally, internationally. They more often, write pitches because before an editor commissions a story, he or she want to be ensured the story you're working on is worth a read. The audience we have Will they be interested to knowing about this subject? Are you bringing in all the points that your audience should be interested? For full-timers, sometimes an editor asks for a pitch. If you want to go for a travel story, what should be the pitch like? Or you are going on a field and you're coming with something, that is an idea. But a full-fledged pitch comes usually when you're writing it, when you're giving your ideas to the editors, for national or for international publications, for online media. And it's very important because nowadays your pieces get selected on basis of your pitch. So sometimes they even tell you to revise your pitch. So pitch writing does consist a lot of persuasion, creative thinking, and storytelling. Creative thinking is very important because sometimes the story you have pitched, it's everywhere. एक 300 वर्ड का 600 वर्ड का वो चीज आया हुआ है, लेकिन अगर आप उसको लंबा करना चाहते हो, आप क्या क्या और दिखाना चाहते हो अपनी स्टोरी में, बताना चाहते हो या लिखना चाहते हो जो कहीं और नहीं है, जो एक इंटरेस्टिंग रीड बन सके, तो क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग की बहुत जरूरत है. जब तक आप थिंक नहीं करोगे, यू वॉन्ट थिंक अलाउड, यू वॉन्ट बी एबल टू टेल योर स्टोरी. नंबर 2, आप कौन से मीडियम्स ऑफ स्टोरी टेलिंग यूज कर रहे हो. इफ यू आर ओनली राइटिंग, ओके. इफ यू आर यूजिंग विजुअल्स ऑल्सो, इफ यू आर यूजिंग videos also, or maybe you're using some graphics, you're using some sketches, aap kya exactly use kar rahe ho? Because nowadays even sketches are used in a graphic, sketches are used in a long form story, kyunki long form story sirf text nahi hota usually, unless some website only permits text, because आपकी आंखें भी दुख जाती है ना. you'll have some text break, तो text break में क्या आएगा, आपका visual आएगा, वो भी उसी से मिलता जुलता, उसी को जो आपकी स्टोरी को फॉरवर्ड ले, जो उसमें और कलर्स भरे, उसमें आपको और पर्सपेक्टिव दे, आपकी स्टोरी को बहुत अच्छे से और बोले. So this is very, very important. So when you are writing it, it should be 200 words, highly readable. Think of short sentences, bullet points. For example, I'm doing a story on this. For example, let's take an example. For example, Durga Puja is coming. है ना, Kolkata में how Durga Puja is celebrated. If you plan to do a story on the artists who make these clay idols, so what should be your story like? आप क्या लिखना चाहते हो, उससे कौन, in your bullet points, short sentences, bullet points, use subheads. Even if you're using images, wo bhi idea rakho. If you have a sample image, just put it there. These are just 2 images. I'll be coming up with more images. So these pictures are even important for a photo story also. If you are pitching a video story also, the pictures are equally important. So it's not just long form journalism जिसके लिए हम बात कर रहे हैं कि pictures क्यों important है. इस सिर्फ लिखने वाला नहीं है. अगर आप कहीं भी pitch कर रहे हो कोई चीज, ये सारी चीजें important है, because they are all key ingredients, है ना. ये बहुत बहुत जरूरी है ये होना. For example, some websites have a performer, they have a system जहां पे last में होता है कि explain your idea if you want to pitch a story. For example, if you know of Pari, or of several websites, they have a story, write to us, follow right in the pitch. So आप उसमें क्या लिखोगे, क्योंकि उसमें जब pitch जाता है, editor receives it or the editorial desk receives it, they should just instantly see, okay, yeah, it's very good. It's, for example, एक script writer जैसे अपना screenplay लिखता है, एक film producer को देता है, director को देता है, तो उनको वो screenplay से पता चलता है कि ये film के लायक है या नहीं है. तो pitches में भी exactly, and now it depends आप किस industry के लिए लिख रहे हो. So what should your pitch have? Number 1, an introduction that describes your story and its perspective. क्या है आपका story? क्या है इसका perspective? Pinpointed. What is your story? It should be very pinpointed. It should not be vague. It should not look like a story itself. This is my story. My story is on this, and I'll be, जो भी आपका story है, एक पैरा में आप लिख लीजिए. Of course, how your story will be different than others, and what are the important points जिससे ये interesting हो. अगर आप ये story कर रहे हो, इसमें और क्या अलग होगा जो कहीं आया नहीं है, जो आप दिखाना चाहते हो, क्या अलग, ऐसी अलग angles है, अलग features है, वो आपको लिखना होगा. Usually an editor, if you are pitching and they are not asking you to, they are not commissioning story, लेकिन आप approach कर रहे हो, they would like to have a deadline. आप ये कब तक करोगे? Will it take you a week to do? Will it take you 5 days, 7 days, 10 days? Because it's a long form. आप एक दिन में नहीं कर सकते. You need to talk to so many people. आपको लिखना है, आपको बात करना है, आपको इंटरव्यूज ट्रांसक्राइब करना है, फिर आपको स्टोरी में एक प्रॉपर स्ट्रक्चर करना है इसको. तो एक डेडलाइन की बहुत जरूरी है कि ये हमारा डेडलाइन होगा. जो भी आपका डेडलाइन हो, आपका कॉन्टैक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन बहुत जरूरी है, and sample of your previous works. If you have just started, you're a freelancer, you're a pass out from your J school and you're pitching in stories, or you are already an independent journalist, a small, maybe a one para, very small, not like a resume kind of a thing, a small para like what have you done, and maybe a link to your already published work, your Twitter handle, your contact information. If it's there, it gives an editor an idea, okay, who is he or who is she and what kind of work they'll be able to do. तो ये आपकी कुछ चीजें हैं जो पिच में होना चाहिए. पिच में जब स्ट्रक्चर आप करो तो ये सब चीजें होना चाहिए, और ये सब 200-300 वर्ड में पूरा आना चाहिए. क्योंकि because there are expectations when you're writing a pitch and editor is receiving it, you're not the only one जो भेज रहे हैं. वहां पे बहुत सारे pitches आते हैं और उनको ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे it's like you're pitching in your story for a publication. जैसे आप बुक का सिनॉप्सिस लेके जाते हो, जैसे आप फिल्म का स्क्रीन प्ले लेके जाते हो, तो वैसे ही आप लॉन्ग फॉर्म जर्नलिज्म में, आप फोटो स्टोरी में, आप वीडियो स्टोरी में एक छोटा सा पिच लेके जाते हो. एंड यूजुअली अगर आपने अट्रैक्टिव वे में लिखा है, पिन पॉइंटेड है, वेग नहीं है, और आप ये जरूर लिखिए कि आपकी ऑडियंस क्यों पढ़ना चाहेगी उसको, तो इट विल हेल्प यू कि आपका पिच एक्सेप्ट हो. एडिटर विल रिप्लाई, आई थिंक वी शुड गो ahead with it, and maybe there are some suggestions, and usually editors give suggestions. Why don't you define your pitch, or why don't you add some more things in it? And sometimes it's like we don't think that our audience will be interested, or our readers will be interested in this story. It's a polite way of saying that no, we did not like your pitch. So sometimes it's like they don't like, or sometimes it's like pitch is there, it's very good, but the audience they cater to, they won't be interested to. For example, if there is a South Indian website and it's catering to farm or rural issues or something, तो आप कोई उसमें नॉर्थ इंडिया में कहीं कोई फेस्टिवल हो रहा है उसका पिच नहीं दे सकते, क्योंकि उनको लगेगा हमारे ऑडियंस नहीं है. तो ऑडियंस, या फॉर एग्जांपल इफ देयर इज अ एग्रीकल्चर बेस्ड वेबसाइट, देयर इज अ रूरल इश्यूज बेस्ड वेबसाइट, एंड यू कैन बी जस्ट गिविंग अ पिच साइंस से रिलेटेड या हेल्थ से रिलेटेड जो उसमें कहीं मिसफिट हो रहा है. तो ये आपको जरूर देखना होगा, द नेचर ऑफ द वेबसाइट्स you are pitching in. Your idea should actually gel with it. It should be in sync. It should not be something out of box जो उसमें नहीं जाएगा. And also there is different ways of pitching a story for freelance journalism, because usually how do you approach them? You approach through an email. One more thing is very important, just write clearly in your subject का जो line होता है उसमें लिखिए pitch for a story, and the title of your story. It's very important because बहुत सारे emails आते हैं, they should know. आप hello लिख के नहीं छोड़ सकते, hello, और अंदर आपने लिखा होगा there is a pitch for a story. These are very small basic things, and I'm sure most of us who are already doing it, they know, but those who have just completed their J schools and are out for searching for work and getting their work published, this is very important कि आप अपना subject line में साफ साफ लिखिए. अब आप पिच करेंगे कैसे स्टोरी? सबसे पहले यू शुड नो योर स्टोरी वेरी वेल. बहुत अच्छे से आपको अपना स्टोरी पता होना चाहिए, आप क्या स्टोरी पिच कर रहे हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप चाइल्ड मैरिज को लेके कोई स्टोरी पिच कर रहे हो, है ना, आप कोई चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग को लेके स्टोरी कर रहे हो, आप किसी भी वाटर क्राइसिस को लेके कोई स्टोरी कर रहे हो. बट वाटर क्राइसिस को लेके एवरीबडी इज डूइंग, और चाइल्ड मैरिज सब जगह हो रहा है. आपका स्टोरी कैसे डिफरेंट है ना? क्या उस गांव में क्या ऐसा चीज है, या कैसे एक चेंज आया है? यू शुड बी एबल टू टेल द चेंज. यू शुड बी एबल टू ऑन पॉइंट टेल योर ऑडियंस, टेल योर editor like what is that you will be covering in your story. है ना, आप इसमें क्या लिख रहे होंगे, हाउ विल इट बी डिफिकल्ट, हाउ विल इट बी डिफरेंट, और इसमें दूसरों को पढ़ के क्यों इंटरेस्ट होगा और इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा। जैसे हम लोग रिसर्च में जब हम रिसर्च पेपर्स लिखते हैं तो इसमें एक इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर होता है, तो वैसे ही आपका स्टोरी का भी क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा, है ना, व्हाट डिफरेंस विल इट मेक, है ना, क्या पॉलिसी चेंज इंटरवेंशन होगा, क्या जो वो लोग पढ़ रहे हैं वो इंस्पायर होंगे, तो ये भी आप लिख सकते हो। दूसरा चीज, बिफोर यू पिच अ स्टोरी, उस टॉपिक पे जो ऑलरेडी काम हुआ है, इट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हेन वी डू रिसर्च, है ना, वी गो फॉर लिटरेचर रिव्यू, तो आपका यहाँ पे भी रिसर्च पब्लिकेशंस है वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ऑलरेडी जो उसमें न्यूज में कहीं कहीं आया है या कहीं उस पर पब्लिश हुआ है, किसी ने कोई भाषण में बोला है, कोई डेटा है, जस्ट हैव योर फैक्ट्स करेक्ट, अच्छा खासा थोड़ा रिसर्च करिए। नंबर 3, सबमिशन गाइडलाइंस, अगर उन्होंने लिखा है बॉडी थोड़ा सा लिखिए, है ना, इसमें लिखिए पॉइंट वाइज, जैसे कि आई टोल्ड यू एवरी वेबसाइट हैज a different way of pitching, they have a different format, some have no format, they will just write to you, you pitch a story, तो आपको सब हेड्स बनाने पड़ेंगे, टाइटल, टॉपिक, why is it important, what will be you covering, what will be the outcome, and what will be the impact, and what will be you supporting your story with, maybe a series of photos or videos, वो क्या photos होंगे, you'll have to describe। एक और चीज है, हमेशा योर स्टोरी, जब आप अपना स्टोरी को आप ऑडियंस सॉरी अपने एडिटर को बता रहे हो, तो एक ओपनिंग लाइन होना चाहिए उसमें कि उसमें क्या ह्यूमन इंटरेस्ट स्टोरीज है, बिकॉज यू नो ह्यूमन इंटरेस्ट स्टोरीज आर समथिंग बिकॉज दैट विल ऑलवेज इंटरेस्ट ए एडिटर, because they are read, no matter which geographical area they are from, if they are inspiring, you know, they have a humane element in them, they are directly affecting you, तो वो editor को लगता है कि it's a good read, है ना, let's just you know come up with this, तो आप वो maybe आप थोड़ा सा human interest के बारे में भी उसमें लिख सकते हैं। And then you should always write, why is this story important, why, you know, why is this because you are going to get some work, आप लोगों को काम चाहिए, आपका स्टोरी पब्लिश होना चाहिए, क्यों, है ना, क्योंकि उनको भी लगता है, maybe you'll say that you know this topic has been trending, or you know lot of work has been done on this, you know maybe covid impact story जैसे बहुत सारी है, तो उसमें जैसे covid में marginalized communities पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा, है ना, गर्ल्स पे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा, हेल्थ पे, अभी if you pitch stories like these or you pitch photo stories like these, you'll get acceptance because ये सब अभी पढ़ा जा रहा है, or something, a big event has happened for example, and now if you want to do उस पे कोई stories जो लंबा, आप वहां पे जाके ग्राउंड पे जाके एक लंबा voices के साथ करना चाहते हो, I think such stories always attract the editor. So usually when you pitch through an email, whether you are pitching for a radio thing, you're pitching for a television thing, you're pitching for a magazine, for online things, so your email ID should be you know correct, and you should be just putting everything there, because whether it's an international or it's a national publication, another thing is very important, that your pitch should have some journalistic values also. For example, timeliness होना चाहिए, like I told you कि अभी जो मार्च में कोई चीज हो रहा होगा या जो हुआ है साल भर पहले, वो अभी उसके लिए लिखना timeliness is like, you know, they'll be like, now why are we doing it, why we have already missed the bus. So your story should be, you know, it should have that timelines, exactly जो न्यूज वैल्यूज के जो कॉम्बिनेशन होते हैं, जो हम डेली रिपोर्टिंग में यूज करते हैं, आपके लॉन्ग फॉर्म के पिच में भी वो चीजें होनी चाहिए, आपका इम्पैक्ट होना चाहिए, प्रोमिनेंस है ना, प्रोमिनेंस वाला जो चीज है कि इट शुड बी यू नो द स्टोरी शुड बी, या उसका जो उसमें चीज है, इट शुड बी प्रोमिनेंट इनफ, प्रॉक्सिमिटी, अगेन आई टेल यू, फॉर एग्जांपल इंडियन वेबसाइट है, इंडियन मार्जिनलाइज इश्यूज पे काम करे, यूएस का स्टोरी दोगे, why will an editor like it? But if you're giving for Indo-Pak border को लेके कुछ, maybe an editor will like because it's proximity, maybe Indo-Nepal border पे कोई village है उसको लेके आप दे रहे हो, तो या बांग्लादेश के साथ कुछ है, तो आप जो आपके आसपास जो proximity है आप उसको कवर करिए जो उसके इसमें आ जाए। There should be conflict of ideas, है ना, conflict in the story, and last but not the least, like I told you, human interest होना बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा important है. तो ये आपका पूरा मीडिया पिच का स्ट्रक्चर है. आपके पास लीड होना चाहिए, कॉल टू एक्शन, एंड यूजुअली व्हेन यू कंक्लूड हमेशा उस पे थैंक यू लिख के आप ये करिए, एंड यू कैन कनेक्ट मी विद एंड ऑलवेज हैव अ follow up is also very important. Sometimes you write a pitch, hafta bhar ho jata, there is no response from the editor. We think like it's not got selected, but I have had such experiences where ek hafta baad I wrote, and then they wrote back to me saying, sorry, I missed seeing your email earlier, but now I have read your pitch and you can carry on with your story. So sometimes we think, okay, shayad reject ho gaya, there is no response. Just be positive, keep chasing your pitch, and then you can also politely write, like if you're not taking it this time, or you don't like the idea, then okay, I'll be pitching it elsewhere. Or sometimes even editor likes you, like we are not taking it, but feel free to pitch it anywhere, because he or she also knows that if the journalist has sent a pitch, he must have worked on the story, or he intends to work on the story. So let him, pitch it elsewhere. So ek darwaza band ho jata, you can just pitch in, there's so many other websites, and kahin na kahin aapka pitch chala jayega. So this was a brief, thing where I told you what journalistic pitch is, what a pitch should have, and how to make your pitches better. If there are any questions regarding your pitch, please feel free to write to me in the chat box, or you can send it to Pooja or anybody. Yeah, so I'll keep continuing. No, I still have my half presentation is so that was about the pitch. So now as long form reportage, like Pooja said, that it should be somewhere between 1,000 to 20,000 words. Long form articles, it should be लंबा होना चाहिए, बहुत लंबा, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 वर्ड. जब 1,000, 3,000 का आप लिख रहे हो तो मतलब बहुत ही बड़ा है ना. सो academically मैं आपको थोड़ा लॉन्ग फॉर्म के बारे में बताती हूँ. The term long form journalism can vary in definition. Writers such as Steve Vaughan focus on its length as a defining feature. Therefore, journalism with a narrative voice and novel-like tendencies could fit under the umbrella of long-form journalism. However, in a conference reported by Sharp in 2013, the founder of the long-form website, The Big Round Table, Shapiro said, "For me, it's not an essay. It's a reported piece of journalism, and it's not defined by its length. It's defined by its style. It's all about the writing. It's all about the voice." That's what I told you. It's all about the storytelling. It's all about the writing. It's all about the voice. So voice is not as colloquial as a feature and does not have the creative form of journalistic novel. Extensive research is invested into the pieces of short, long-form journalism and elaborate on the bare bones of a news story. However, there is a clear distinction between a long-form article and an academic essay in structure. So long-form, again, now it's not only about the word count, it's again about the style. आप शुरू कहाँ से कर रहे हो? आप एक voice से शुरू कर रहे हो, और जिसको हम स्लो जर्नलिज्म भी बोलते हैं, है ना. स्लो जर्नलिज्म 2019 में टर्म हुआ था, है ना. इज लाइक रिटर्निंग टू बिग स्टोरीज आफ्टर डस्ट हैज सेटल्ड एंड आस्किंग अ क्वेश्चन, व्हाट हैपेंड नेक्स्ट. उस समय आप पूरा इवेंट कवर करते हो, उसके बाद जब एक महीना होता है, यू रिविजिट दैट स्टोरी स्लोली, दैट व्हाट हैपेंड, इस कम्युनिटी के साथ क्या हुआ था, है ना. तो स्लो जर्नलिज्म को, instead of, it's not breaking news, it's a quality journalism, but accuracy, analysis, expert opinion, context, it all should be there. It's not like you're doing slow journalism, so you're missing on some of these. So the focus for the long form, it should be on voice. it's learning, it's writing techniques, executing pieces, using creatively, ये सब आपका इसमें आ जाना चाहिए. Now I'll be telling you a few of these websites जहाँ पे long form journalism होता है. For example, the New York Times magazine, The Cut. The New York Times magazine, आपको पता है कि long form terrific journalism करते हैं ये, and it's usually best article on long form sites भी, they give these awards also. The Cut is also affiliated to New York magazine. उसके बाद आपका उसमें celebrity, beauty इस सब को लेके है. Pacific Standard है एक और आउटलेट जिसमें सोशल और एनवायरमेंटल जस्टिस को लेके नरेटिव जर्नलिज्म होता है लॉन्ग फॉर्म. साउदर्ली है, एक साउदर्ली है जिसमें इकोलॉजी आपका जस्टिस और कल्चर को लेके होता है. नरेटिवली is a website that focuses on the stories of ordinary people. The website features both long form, shorter pieces, secret lives, super subcultures. ये सारा इस सब में आपका आता है. तो इंडिया की बात करें, इन इंडिया लाइक द बर्थ ऑफ लॉन्ग फॉर्म जर्नलिज्म जो अभी जो मल्टीमीडिया में हो रहा है. सो आई थिंक हमारी जो बुक्स में है या पहला, इट्स नॉट लाइक जैसे अभी, because there are so many websites which are coming up. For example, India, we have the Caravan is there, Article 14 is there, Scroll does some very good long form stories, environment pe, the Quint is there, I mean all of these. So it's not but yeah, it's like it's not like इंडिया में अभी भी लॉन्ग फॉर्म धीरे धीरे पॉपुलर हो रहा है, बिकॉज नाउ वी हैव एक्सेस टू इंटरनेट, डिजिटल मीडिया is trending. You can just you can use different formats of storytelling. So which is why in India it's also abhi bahut acha ja raha hai India mein bhi. And what are Indian very good long form websites? And there are so many. मैं आपको बताया कैरावन इज देयर, आपके पास कल्चर पे भी आपको मिलेंगी स्टोरीज, आपके पास आर्टिकल 14 है, 52 करके एक वेबसाइट है जिसमें है ना हर हफ्ते एक स्टोरी आता है. एंड इट्स वेरी इट्स लाइक 52 हर वीक एक स्टोरी आता है पूरे इसमें. And because it's just a long form website hai, and they do 50,000 word story or 25,000 word story. बहुत लंबा story होता है if you get a chance to see what 52 is. And एक और है website इंडिया में, it's called long form, LONGFORM. So long form also जिसमें आप अपने essays दे सकते हो, अपने am I audible, Pooja?
Yes, ma'am.
बीच में कट गया था क्या?
Yeah, just got dropped for a couple of seconds. When you were talking about the long form on 52.
Wait. Some couple of questions have come to me. I send you those questions or should I?
You can take the questions.
One minute.
By the time Dr. Anjum is back, maybe it's it's a lot of knowledge which is being shared about long form. Earlier, even I was not aware about that. I just knew a little layman language, layman description of long form. But what we have learned is a lot more than what, as a layman we are aware of. Ma'am is back.
Yeah, thank you so much for adding. Yeah, so I mean, these are some of the ideas, some of the websites. I told you how to make your pitch impressive, how to approach the website. So I mean, so try doing it, and there is always a scope of improvisation. And फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंडिया में एक और वेबसाइट है KEN. वो लोग भी हर हफ्ते दे जस्ट पब्लिश वन, लाइक आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट 52. उसका नाम ही पड़ा है 52 बिकॉज इट्स वेरी लॉन्ग एंड 52 वीक्स इन एयर. हर हफ्ते सिर्फ एक सिर्फ एक. And now I will just show you, I'll just share. Can I share the screen and show them a few websites?
Yes, I've given you the right to share.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's there. सारा स्क्रीन कैसे
from the first window. When you share, you have to click on the first window of screen.
Can you see
the PPT?
Oh,
now we can see the desktop.
Can you see some story? Article
14.
Yeah, so this is one of the websites. If you have a story related to justice, constitution, democracy, you can just pitch in here. And one of the stories, I also contribute for them, but it's not, this is somebody else's story. How dowry was banned ago, but the cases are rising while grieving families find their justice harder than ever. ये तो हर एक हम लोग कहते हैं रोज ही बात कर रहे हैं, पर आप अगर इसको लॉन्ग फॉर्म में लिख रहे हो कैसे लिखोगे? देयर शुड बी सम डेटा, है ना. मोर देन 18 women die every day in violence. Demand for all the marginalized fewer women died in 2021. ये सारा आएगा इसमें. So for example, now you're starting, for example, there is the first paragraph. नाम आप asterisk gazed dash anybody gazed at the walls in silence while a younger spoke nervously, struggling to keep her emotion a check. A's younger sister B, 28-year-old, died on 27 June after setting herself ablaze. So हम किसी की आवाज बता रहे हैं ना. We are starting the story with a voice. और ये नीचे तक ये वॉइस जाता रहेगा, एक के बाद एक वॉइस, एक के बाद एक वॉइस. देन अ डेटा विल कम इन, एक्सपर्ट्स का व्यू विल कम, स्टैटिस्टिकल थिंग विल कम. आपको थोड़ा डाउरी प्रोहिबिशन एक्ट के बारे में आपको बताना होगा. आप हाइपर लिंक भी कर सकते हो. अगर आप डाउरी प्रोहिबिशन एक्ट पे क्लिक मारोगे तो आपके इसके बारे में जो कहीं पेज है वो आएगा. सो दिस इज हाउ लॉन्ग फॉर्म वर्क्स. योर पिक्चर्स आर ऑल्सो देयर. फिर केसेस के बारे में थोड़ा सा चीज आ गया कि कितने महीनों से या कितने टाइम से आप डेटा क्या. एक और चीज है कि जब भी आप लॉन्ग फॉर्म कर रहे हो या जब भी आप जर्नलिज्म कर रहे हो, इट्स अ फेयर प्रैक्टिस कि आप अपना जिसका भी आप रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हो वॉइस, बिकॉज यू टॉक टू सो मेनी पीपल. हमेशा या तो आप फोन की रिकॉर्डिंग लें, या तो अगर आपके पास FIR डॉक्यूमेंट्स है उनका एक प्रूफ अपने पास रखिए. इट्स फॉर इंडिपेंडेंट जर्नलिस्ट, फॉर ऑल इंडिपेंडेंट जर्नलिस्ट, स्पेशली डूइंग इंडिपेंडेंट जर्नलिज्म और डूइंग लॉन्ग, लाइक आई कीप इट ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स. अब आपका फोन कभी भी टूट सकता है. आप खुद को ईमेल करिए, उस स्टोरी का नाम लिखिए, स्टोरी दिस टाइटल, ये उससे रिलेटेड सारी चीजें, इट्स इन द गूगल ड्राइव, सो दैट आपका स्टोरी गया, सब कुछ हो गया. कभी कोई केस हुआ, कभी किसी ने क्वेश्चन किया, you have your you have all the information with you. So this is a tip I'm giving you. And yeah, For example, scroll का ये बड़ा interesting story है. Indian farmers spray a deadly cocktail of pesticides because government lacks staff to guide them. Fine. So, there's an interesting picture farmer का. और ये in 2002 an article in Times of India reported. So they started with an article published in somewhere else. तो आप भी ये कर सकते हो. You can always quote or attribute and just hyperlink the piece so that if somebody clicks there, so every has their own format. So are always there should be subheads क्योंकि बहुत interest wise बहुत ज़्यादा boring read हो जाता है. The story, the New York Times वाला Jungle Prince, अगर तो आप इसको this is ये अभी paywall है and ये भी होता है long forms के पीछे. Even if when the traditional websites also come up with long, keep it behind the paywall. You have to subscribe to read because it's a lot of labor and lot of time has been chipped in for constructing that story, for making that story, for weaving it. So आपको अगर आप पढ़ रहे हो, you'll have to pay for it. ये long reads है website जो मैंने आपको बताया था, है ना? ये भी एक interesting है जिसके लिए आप long form, ये long form tag hai. So these are some of these stories, some of the yeah. So if there are any questions, you can please ask me. I have just received 2 questions on my phone. First question is, we decide that if it is worth a long form or not. How do you decide? Same thing, it should be interesting. There should be an proximity, objective. इशू बड़ा होना चाहिए, है ना? जैसे हमने अभी मतलब इश्यूज बहुत बड़े होने चाहिए और एक स्ट्रॉन्ग वॉइस होना चाहिए और उस इशू में कुछ नया हुआ होना चाहिए. देयर शुड बी समथिंग न्यू, है ना? आपका एक स्टोरी का पेग होना चाहिए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट. इशू इंपॉर्टेंट है, एक पेग भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल atrocities on marginalized communities और दलित्स और ये सब होता रहता है, ये तो पता ही है. पर अगर अभी कोई केस आया है तो आप उसको पेग बना सकते हो और आप ओवरऑल एक स्टोरी लिख सकते हो. सो द पेग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. करेंसी ऑफ इशू इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. The second question was, even for a video story or a photo story, is the pitch important and should it be a visual pitch or it should be a text pitch? When I say pitch, you have to write, है ना? It's very important कि आपके photo story में क्या होना चाहिए. If you're doing some portraits, you're doing a long shot, you're doing a wide angle, आप कुछ depth of field का use कर रहे हो, आप black and white में कर रहे हो, आप emotions दिखाना चाहते हो, तो आप वो थोड़ा बताओ. अगर कुछ आपने shoot already किया है या कोई clip बनाई है, it would be good if you attach that. So these are the 2 questions I have received. And yeah, if there are any other questions, Pooja, from your side, please feel free to ask.
Ma'am, I'd like to read this question from Arundhati Charan. She's saying you have mentioned about knowing the niche and knowing your audience or about the readers. As a beginners, how do a journalist would know that who would be the audience or how?
Yeah, for example,
you have to research.
So writing this. No, you have to. For example, if there is a story on, I told if there's a story on rural issues, if there's a story on village issues, if there is a story, it's a development journalism that you're doing, or so अगर आप वो दे रहे हो तो आप उसी वेबसाइट को दो जो इस पे लिखता है. अगर डेमोक्रेसी, जस्टिस इसको लेके, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर लीगल इशू तो आप ऐसी वेबसाइट को दो. तो आपको पता होना चाहिए, because there are websites who are specific, who just touch issues only. So you have to know which website. You open a website and you pitch or you read what's in there. What is it famous for? जैसे मैंने 50 बोला, मैंने कैरावन के बारे में बोला, आर्टिकल 14, गांव कनेक्ट, to the earth or counter currents, So I know what I'll be writing for Article 40 is specifically for that. It won't go maybe in the ground connection. That's different. Niche audience is different. आपका temperament अलग है, story का structure अलग है, उसमें अलग चीजें चाहिए. So आपको पता होना चाहिए. तो ये तभी होगा जब आप इनकी stories पढ़ेंगे, आपने Twitter पे follow किया होगा, या जैसे भी आपका, you'll have to read first. Yeah.
So before writing, you have to research your audience.
You have to research the website's audience. जिसको आपने स्टोरी पिच कर, आपका स्टोरी बिल्कुल गलत नहीं है, पर उस वेबसाइट पे दो जो उस तरीके की स्टोरीज लेंगे.
Okay. Ma'am, the next question I have is from Shalini. Shalini wants to know, can we send a small stories for the long form sites, those you have mentioned?
There are some, because उनका news stories भी होता, role takes both, but they usually, the websites ही आजकल ऐसा है कि थोड़ा लंबा है. मुझे भी याद नहीं 2 साल में मैंने ऐसा एक भी स्टोरी कोई 1200-1300 कम लिखा होगा. That's the minimum. Maximum I've gone 3500 words. So I mean, if you're writing, you're investing life, क्योंकि लंबा is always good. बिकॉज आपके पास सब तरफ की वॉइसेस आएंगे, आप सबको कोट करोगे, आप एक्सपर्ट को कोट करोगे, आप अपना ओपिनियन डालोगे, आप डेटा डालोगे, लिखने में इन डेप्थ. देयर इज नो हरी. यू आर नॉट अ डेली रिपोर्टर जिसको बीट से 4 या 5 स्टोरीज फाइल करनी है अंडर प्रेशर. यू हैव द प्रिविलेज ऑफ रिसर्चिंग अ टॉपिक, डूइंग इट एट योर ओन पेस. देन why not?
So why not? You have to research and work on your story.
तो पढ़ने में बहुत मजा आएगा. Your piece will become a reference point or a bibliography for somebody's research maybe. क्योंकि आप बहुत सारे खबरों में जो already आया है, you are also quoting those, है ना? आप दूसरी news भी hyperlink कर रहे हो जो पहले आया.
Right. So it's a complete study. It's not just your writing. You are doing the entire study and then arranging it or mapping it according to the website's requirement. At the same time, we'll take last question, ma'am. When you talk about long form journalism, how good is that form to earn the living? Like how efficiently you get paid on your stories?
How you get it? So it depends. It really depends that who are you pitching your story for. Every website has their own, sometimes, has their own budget, how much they can pay. And usually they discuss it. It's a very good thing that when you pitch a story, will be able to pay you this much. Will you be okay with it? So it's up to you. If you want to, क्योंकि आपसे इनवॉइस लेंगे बाद में, आपको लगता है नहीं करना है पिच, तो आप नहीं कर सकते. आपको लगता है कोई बात नहीं, we still want to pitch it because this is how independent journalism works. But it's always better for beginners. It's better to get your stories published at least at 2 or 3 outlets, because it really helps if you like international audience or an international outlet. It really helps you already published the stories here. Really recommend, because our platform is more for beginners and for the pass out students. So this is my humble request for them, that in beginning, just get a good reporting done, right. That's where, yeah.
So follow the excellence and the money will follow you. At the same time, we are almost at the end of this session, and the questions that I have are not ending. So one last, okay, I'll just select one more. So what should be the core purpose of your writing? It should be touching the human, or it should make the audience emotionally connect, or it should make some hype about some scenario? It's a question from Pratik.
Yeah, human issues should be there, because लंबा लिखेंगे, कोई कलर नहीं होगा, कोई इमोशंस नहीं होंगे, कोई ह्यूमन एंगल नहीं होगा, ह्यूमन इंटरेस्ट नहीं होगा. So I think the audience will lack interest because everything you are reading, if you're investing your time as a reader also, and this should be something कि हाँ human angle है. Go to all these websites that I just mentioned or some of these reports, see that it's the emotions, the human interest makes stories readable. So sometimes that's not your story with the human interest. Then later will data बाद में आएगा, voices और बाद में आएंगी, experts बाद में आएगा, news का जो चीज है वो आएगा, कोई FIR का कॉपी या किसी statistics कोई रिपोर्ट है वो आएगा. Start it with the voice. That's what the gentleman has also said, that long form is only not about the word count. It's more about the format you're using, how you are telling your story.
Okay, great. I feel you have answered almost all the questions, and everything is like interconnected that I'm receiving. Thank you so much, Dr. Anjum, for your elaborated session on long form journalism. I'm sure media students would know about it a lot clearer now. And people like me, layman's in this field of journalism, would also gain a lot of information. Like I have learned a lot myself. So thank you so much for your time, Dr. Anjum. And Amrish sir, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you, Amrish sir. Amrish sir को सुन नहीं पा रही मैं.
नहीं, उस समय वो mute पे था. I was listening to you. I mean, today was your day, so we were the listeners.
नहीं sir, how are you? कैसे हैं आप?
बहुत बढ़िया. And since I have also been a practicing journalist, so I could relate.
Of course, sir. Of course.
Telling us. So it was really informative, and basically the objective of this series is this only, that those who do not have any background of media, or those who might be tomorrow the aspirants in media studies and in media profession, for them obviously all this information was definitely vital, and this will give them an idea that if they decide to join media and particularly journalism, or what kind of opportunities will be there for them, and or what all they have to keep in mind before joining the profession. So it was really, really wonderful, Tabeenah.
Thank you so much, sir. And I really congratulate you and everybody, Hannah, for organizing of small lectures and on different. It's एक month का काफी rich है ये. Maybe come up with a book or something. अगर last में 30 lectures का एक छोटा सा book जो हमने ये बोला है, we can get it published. एक छोटा सा maybe, and we can send it to our people. This is a small that we should do maybe.
For this, the credit goes. I mean, whatever has been initiated, it was started by MESC, so obviously that is how it is happening. And then, as we always believe in GMEC, that nothing can happen beyond, besides the collaboration and the cooperation. So this is one example where GMEC and MESC have joined hands. And I hope, I mean, today is the second day, the series is bound to be a success.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My gratitude to all the listeners, for the team GMEC, MESC. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So today we have learned about long form journalism, and tomorrow is a day. In the morning, tomorrow 11:30, we will have another lovely and inspiring session about media ethics, the challenges and beyond, by Ms. Momita Dedas. She will be guiding us about the media ethics that we need to follow, and all the media professionals need to ensure while working or on their content and on their articles, or even on social media. So we are really excited for tomorrow's session. I wish to thank Team GMEC and all the audience who are watching us at this time. And yes, so tomorrow we'll meet 11:30. And till then, take rest, take care of yourself, and see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Dr. Anjum, and
bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.